What if I told you about a product you can invest your money in, and if you were to declare bankruptcy, it's actually creditor protected? I'm Carlo, and I'm the personal finance columnist for the Montreal Gazette. I recently wrote a column about how to protect your investments if you were to go bankrupt. As an advisor, I get pitched a lot of different types of products. One of these products that gets pushed heavily are segregated funds. Segregated funds essentially are an investment packaged into an insurance product. This means that I can actually invest people's money while using my insurance license instead of maybe having a dual license for mutual funds. The compliance burden on insurance products is actually much lower than that on securities like mutual funds, stocks, bonds, and ETFs. The segregated fund does have additional protections. That is true. For example, there's a protection on the principal invested should you die during a downturn. Another common protection that gets touted is its creditor protection. Both the guarantees on the principal and the protection from creditors means that there's additional cost. This additional cost is reflected in the MER, the management expense ratio, which is typically paid through the product. You can pay anywhere between 1.1% to 5%, depending on the amount of protection and other provisions in the contract. But segregated funds typically come with an upfront commission for the advisor, so the payout is definitely more significant upfront than, let's say, if that advisor had invested your money through a mutual fund or an ETF. This compensation is also reflected in the higher cost of the product. Is that creditor protection really worth it? And the answer is probably not. Now, this gets pushed a lot to business owners. And the fact is that if your business was not doing very well to begin with, you probably wouldn't have had much money to invest in the first place. You also could have had the same amount of creditor protection had you just invested your money in an RSP. And also, you would have had a tax deduction for it. There are probably many use cases for segregated funds, but creditor protection is overblown. If you have any questions about financial products, personal finance strategies, etc., feel free to write to me, and maybe your question will be featured in my next column at the Montreal Gazette.